Welcome to the FBC Global Church Podcast. I'm Scott McManigle, one of the global missions pastors at FBC. And in this episode, I get the privilege of interviewing my favorite missionary family of all the world, Joel and Rachel McManigle. And Joel and Rachel have been on the field now for almost 3 months, and so thought it would be a really good time to have feature Joel and Rachel and have them give us an update of how things have been and what they've been doing. And so you guys have been there almost 3 months now. How many people have you led to the Lord?
There's a lot more to it than just that.
Yeah, so some people might not realize what it takes to, you move to another country and, you're going to be involved in cross-cultural ministry. Like, what does it take to get to the place where you can finally give somebody the gospel?
A huge part of that is definitely relationships. Without relationships, you don't have a voice into someone's life. You don't have the ability to share something so important, so meaningful, and for them to take it to heart and to truly believe. Those relationships, of course, take time, and it's probably takes more time being a foreigner, being somebody that is different. So a huge part of that is of course the relationships, but then of course language as well. Being able to communicate to somebody in their heart language, in a language that they truly understand. It takes time to be able to communicate at that level. And then teaching and communicating the gospel in a way that it replaces their old beliefs rather than just adding to it. And so they may believe in spirits or a large range of beliefs. And if we just go in and say, there was a person named Jesus that died and paid for your sins, that says nothing to how this world was created, that there is only one God and that he's created everything. He's in control of everything. It says nothing to that. So their beliefs about the spirits and the powers that the spirits have, that remains. And so now what are they going to do with this? Jesus died for my sins. Wait, I needed someone to die for my sins? What happened at the beginning? Yeah, oftentimes they know that there's wrong in this world and there's sin in this world, like they see that, but they need a savior, that something happened at the beginning, that man fell away from the Lord and there's separation between this relationship. They're not aware of that at all. And so once we build those relationships, learn the language to where we can communicate clearly, then as we're teaching and sharing the gospel, that takes longer than just sitting down sharing the gospel over lunch or something.
Well, in this context, there's not necessarily a hostility towards Christianity or the message of the gospel, but they kind of view religion as like an insurance policy. So sure, like I'll take on one more and, just to cover my bases. And so they have no problem like accepting the morals that Christianity teaches and things like that. They're all for it, and they're very accepting of Western missionaries. And so, yeah, at first appearance, it seems like, oh, like this is going to be really easy to reach them with this message. But then when you really get down into it, they're either just wanting to be friendly and accept what you're having to say, or it is an insurance policy of, okay, I'll just layer this on to what I'm already clinging on to for the insurance. And there's not a true understanding.
I was talking to one of our the pastor of the church that we're attending, and I was asking him, a question along these lines, and he said one thing that they see a lot in their church is people giving Christianity a shot. Well, my life has not been so great. I've lost this and lost that and not doing well. So I'm just going to give Christianity a try and see if things get better. And so we can be excited about this interest, and there's a great opportunity to then disciple and to teach and to train. But if you don't have those relationships and you haven't begun from the beginning, then you're just giving them this another coin to flip, to give it a shot and see if it works out for them. And when they find out this life is hard, then they move on to something else, try something different, because they haven't truly understood and believed, regardless of their circumstances.
Yeah. It's interesting that he said that, because that was exactly how the Karen were. They, in order for them to start coming to church, they had to reach a point where they made a decision where they wanted to be a Christian. Well, what was bringing them to that point was sickness, something bad happening in their family. So they're going to give God a try, give Christianity a try, and see if that helps. Their spirit sacrifices haven't been doing it, haven't healed the kid, or whatever the problem was. And so what we found happen, as you were there many times, was that was the thing that brought them to the place where that made them willing to listen. And then, because we're teaching chronologically and beginning at the beginning, hopefully very quickly they begin to get a big view of God, and all of a sudden God becomes something that's more important than what they were seeking after. And we saw that happen with people. And but if it doesn't, then they go back. Go ahead, Rachel.
Sorry. And that speaks to the goodness of God, that he would allow our unpure motives in coming to him to even be the thing that initiates that relationship with him. Like, he doesn't distinguish between, like, oh, well, your motive was not pure and coming to me. He understands that, like, that's where we're all coming from anyway.
No, I think he actually uses those motives to bring us to the point where we're where they're ready to listen. And so you guys have been there now almost 3 months. How is everything? Are you feeling more at home, or do things still feel a little foreign, or where are things at?
We're definitely getting more comfortable. The area that we settled in, this city, is a very active community. Lots of markets, lots of just little vendors all over the place, and everything within walking distance. So we will often walk to get lunch or coffee, or whatever the case may be. And so people are seeing our faces. We try to take the kids with us as often as we can, just for people to see our faces and to be more comfortable, familiar with us. So that's been really good over the last couple of months, being here, just recognizing people recognizing us, and you can kind of feel like you're part of the community. So that's been really good. There's definitely some street vendors that we've built relationships with, and they see us regularly and see the kids and talk to the kids, and so that's been much better. When we first moved in here, that's so uncertain what this community is going to be like, and so we just really felt like God has blessed us with a great community to be a part of and to plug into, and
Hmm.
We speak enough of the language that we're able to have pretty basic conversations, and so that's where relationships start anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So when they ask you guys, which they always do, especially if you can speak some Thai, when they ask you how long you've been there, how do you guys answer?
So that's been like a really good question because now I can't just say, oh, I've just been here for 2 months, because my pronunciation is way better than someone who's been here for just 2 months.
Yeah.
But I can't really say I've been here for 17 years because I've been gone for so long. And so I don't want them to expect more of me than what I can do. And so that's been like a great conversational piece. They'll ask how long I've been here, and I can, I've been here for just a couple months, but I lived in the States for the last 10 years, and I grew up here. And so, yeah, that's been good. And they've, asked, what are we doing here? And even that has been really just good, getting to know people, because I'm, tell them that I grew up in a hill tribe and I speak that language, and so now I'm here. I want to learn Thai because my Thai isn't so great. And oh yes, it is. It's really good. And I'm back and forth. And so that's fun. Yeah, to be able to have those short conversations. And they ask if the kids can speak Thai, and the kids have been really good with their greetings and whining and being respectful to them, because that's huge in this culture, and they just love it. Just love how the kids have just really interacted with them and not just ignored them like a lot of kids here do. So yeah, that's been really good.
Yeah, the kids have been a huge bridge to relationships, just because the people here love kids, and the kids are willing to interact with them, and that's huge. That we've taught our kids, like, this is how you greet someone, this is how you be respectful, and that speaks to our credit too. And so that's really meaningful to them, and so I think it's been a real
often when we go to the market, we come back with free stuff if we take the kids with us.
Oh, I forgot my purse. Oh, it doesn't matter. I got the kids with me.
Yeah, like Micaiah always wants sushi, and she always ends up with an extra roll or two if she goes along. So
you can get sushi in the market?
Yeah, you can. They have. There's a guy that he has his little cart and just has all this sushi lined up, and you choose which one you want, and you can get a roll for, was it like 50 cents or something?
Not a roll, but a piece.
No. Oh, like after you've gotten 6 pieces.
Wow.
Yeah. So we definitely avoid the raw fish ones.
Yeah.
For Micaiah. She does. I don't think she would like that anyway, but the ones that have just vegetables in it is fine, and she loves them. And so.
Yeah, it took us a little, like probably a couple weeks. We were like, she really likes sushi, but like
we're not
like
doing
an open
that.
air car, but we up to it, and nobody's gotten sick yet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So the kids don't mind being doted over?
So far not, and I feel like and maybe it has to do with COVID. I don't know. People don't touch them. Like,
oh, okay.
I remember as a kid, they'd grab your face and pinch your cheek and and stuff. They don't do that, and I don't know if it's a COVID thing or what, but they just just get really excited, talk to the kids every once in a while, maybe high five or shake their hand or something, but they don't grab their faces and stuff like I feel like they did to Seth.
They did, yeah.
And
one of our
they're a little older too.
What's that, Rachel?
I said maybe it's because they're a little bit older too. They're not like the little baby.
Oh,
toddler.
right. Yeah. No, they used to grab your faces all the time. One of our kids, I won't say which one, but he's your younger brother, not your older brother, used to hate it.
know.
He'd get so
And we-
mad.
And we loved that he was more fair skinned because they always went to him and not us.
Right. Yeah. He just thought they were making fun of him, and he didn't like it.
Yeah, I just am super thankful for everybody that's been praying for us. I know you've been specifically praying for kids, and I mean, we can just tell a difference because they have done so well. We're so thankful. Like, they are super gracious with the people here, and they just seem very at peace and relaxed. And when we finally moved into our house, it was like, okay, mom and dad have been talking about this for 2 years and it's finally happening. And like, I don't know, it just all was right in their world. And yeah, it's just been really helpful for us in our process just to see them comfortable.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. No, I constantly get people asking me how you guys are doing all the time. Yep.
Encouraging.
Yeah, all the time. So I know a lot of people are praying for you and all that, and I'm sure they'll really be glad to hear this podcast as well. So I had another question lined up and now I lost it. What have so you've been there again almost 3 months. What have been some of the highlights of your time so far, and what have been maybe some of the hardest things so far?
So we'll start with the hardest because that kind of segues into the best. But COVID has just made it really challenging because we're here, we're supposed to be building relationships and learning the language, and that's really hard to do when there's restrictions in place and people aren't meeting and you're not really sure where people are at with wanting to get together and stuff. And so that has been challenging. And of course, like we have our relationships here, but pretty much the week we landed on a Sunday, and that week all the churches in the country were shut down and prohibited from meeting. And then like restaurants were closed pretty quickly, and there were just a lot of restrictions. And COVID hasn't been too bad in the past, but this wave, like right when we arrived and after we finished quarantine, this was like the most COVID had impacted, especially the city that we're in. And so it was pretty bad and people were really fearful. And then there's a lot of stigma associated with Westerners. Like they kind of blame the incoming tourists for bringing it and spreading it, even though like we're quarantining and stuff when we come in. Anyway, so it was just even hard to know, like, is my presence causing someone to be fearful? And so, especially the first few weeks we were here, like we really felt that. And since then, numbers have gone down. People are beginning to be vaccinated, and there's a different atmosphere. So restaurants are back open. People are allowed to meet in groups of up to 50. But the church that we have chosen to attend still isn't meeting yet. And so I think that's what's been hardest, is we were really excited about having a local body to connect to and plug in. And we're hoping that a lot of our relationships would be founded there, just because you start with a common ground because we're in the same family. And so, yeah, we have relationships in the marketplace and stuff, but those are very superficial, and that's where you have to start there. So we're really, really hoping the churches open, or some churches have started meeting, smaller ones, but ours is a little bit bigger. It's over 50. And so, yeah, we're really looking forward to plugging into there. And it's been hard that hasn't started yet. But all that to say, we have been able to connect with the pastor and his wife, and that's been super encouraging. So if you want to share about like our time with them.
Yeah. So I'd say the highlight has definitely been the relationships. I mean, big and small, Yeah, just for example, our motorcycle had a flat tire the other day, and so there's a motorcycle shop right down the street, and like you just never know what is normal. And so you don't know, okay, does this motorcycle shop only do oil changes? Do they, everybody knows what it can and can't do. And like everybody in the community, um, like if you just need air put in your tire, can you just go up to a shop and put air in yourself with their hose, or do you have to pay? Like there's just those types of things you just don't know being a foreigner. And so I took the bike up to the shop, and yeah, the guy was just super friendly, super helpful. Yeah, we'll take care of it, no problem. Asked which tire, whether I wanted to replace it or patch it. And so, we had a brief interaction, but it was friendly and successful, I guess. So even like some of those things, like, oh, the guy at the bike shop is really nice, and so that instantly makes you feel okay. Next time I have an issue, I'm comfortable going back there. Um, and so there's a lot of those types of interactions where you just get the sense, okay, they're really friendly, and there's somebody that you can um, go back to. The motorcycle that I bought from the shop, he had to get it shipped up from a different city, and so there was messaging back and forth and communicating via chat and then in person when I bought it and stuff. And so um, yeah, just people being willing, understanding your language limitations and being able to try to um, talk with you and try to word things in a different way, maybe so you can understand, like that type of thing. Those small relationships has definitely been the highlight. You come away from those feeling, okay, that's a place I could definitely go back to and feel comfortable because I was able to communicate with them and they're friendly. And then we just really appreciated the pastor and his wife. They came over and visited us one day, invited us over to their place for dinner, spent quite a bit of time with them. They don't speak any English, and so we were very exhausted after those interactions with them. But they know why we're here. They know our limitations. They know that we do speak some, and so they're helping us. When we can't think of the words, we can begin to describe what we're talking about, and they're teaching us language as we're having these real life conversations. And so that's just been a huge blessing, just those relationships with them. And then the pastor, um, he kept talking about going spearfishing and how he loves to spearfish. So I told him right away, I'd love to go do that with you if you ever want to. And so then we saw him at there was a service day at the church, and we went and participated in that and cut the grass and stuff like that. And there again, he had talked about spearfishing. I said, if you are gonna go, let me know. I really want to go. Well, one day he called me. He said, I don't know if you were kidding or you really wanted to go, or he like gave me this big opportunity to say, yeah, I wasn't gonna go. And was like, but I'm gonna go on Friday if you'd like to go. And I said, yeah, I would love to go. So he took me out spearfishing on this little tiny boat, and this spear gun that he bought at a market somewhere. It looks like a crossbow that shoots a little nail, well, a big long nail, with like a line at the end. And we didn't see any fish and didn't get to shoot anything, but yeah, it was just a great time just spending with him out on this beautiful lake and in the boat. And yeah, so it's definitely been those relationships that have been the highlights here. Our landlady is another one that she's just been super friendly, super helpful. Um, yeah, trying to think of any other specific relationships.
And what's cool about the pastor and his wife is he actually grew up knowing my grandma and grandpa were here
Mm-hmm.
years ago, and
As a kid, he would go on trips with your
Yeah.
grandpa, carrying your grandpa's backpack
Yeah.
and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
my grandpa would hike up to these villages and be gone for days, and so yeah, he would help carry his pack, I guess he was telling us the other day. And so it's just cool to, I don't know, I feel like they especially have a connection with us because they
Yeah.
know and love our grandparents, and so it really does feel like family in a way, like because of the spiritual connection we have with them, but then also the relational connection that's already there. And we're just super grateful for the people that have gone before us, and for the Lord preparing things for us that we can just step into and reap the benefits of. That's just been really, really cool.
Yeah. And then of course the food is a huge highlight.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We
And the price of it.
oh yeah. We where we're living, just is it less than a football field away, there's a plaza that every night, I mean, is just packed with whatever kind of amazing food you can think of. And then Mondays and Wednesdays, it's probably 3 times the size, a huge market, tons of fresh produce and fruit and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, we've just really been enjoying all of that, and
Mm-hmm.
kids trying new stuff too, and that's been good.
Yeah, I actually cooked my first meal since being in Thailand this week. So
Huh.
we've just either been like going out or going to the market and bringing food home. And so it took us a little bit of time to set up our kitchen and stuff. And it's not really necessary, but we were like, okay, like there's a couple things,
Chicken
very
noodle
minimal,
soup.
like things that we can't cook. So I make quesadillas and corn salsa, which back home would be like, a simple cheap meal.
Right.
But here it took me like 3 hours to get the ingredients I needed and put everything together,
and more expensive because of the cheese.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
right.
I was like, man, that's like the hardest I've ever worked to make quesadillas. And then I made noodle soup. So yeah, the things that you can't get here are kind of random, but yeah, that was a milestone. Our first meal cooked in our kitchen.
That's awesome. So, like you said earlier, you spent 17 years there growing up, then you were gone for 10. Now you're back as adults with your own kids. So how's it different?
The hardest thing is definitely the language, because yeah, I lived here for 17 years, but the majority of that was in a different language. And then my high school years was here in this city, but high school, they all speak English. And so my language ability is very childish, because one, I was a child when I was here, and so okay, what's your favorite color, what food do you like, what just super basic things. And so how are you feeling? Well, I don't know how to tell you that anymore. Like there's adult content conversations, deeper things that I just don't have a large vocabulary for. And so that's what's difficult and different about being here as an adult. And then having the responsibilities, of course, is totally different. Like trying to navigate setting up a house and buying a motorcycle and a vehicle and that type of thing. There's a lot of language in there that I just never experienced as a kid, because it wasn't the realms that I was I don't know if you can hear that, but that's the ice cream cart
Nice.
by at 9 in the morning.
Your kids will be coming in a
And
minute.
he knows our house. He comes to the street and he stops. And he looks in the window.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes Malachi. Oh, he
Oh.
stopped him.
Okay, I'm gonna need.
That's funny. Yeah, well, wait till your kids, wait till you find out your kids are playing paintballs in abandoned houses and stuff.
Yeah, know about that while we did it.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on at the time. It was one of those things I found out about later.
Playing paintball in abandoned house.
Uh,
Did you give him enough money?
Yeah.
What is?
Yes, the kids learned the sound of the ice cream cart.
very quickly.
Micaiah, put the cat down, honey.
So one thing that, yeah, we did to help the kids adjust is we got 2 kittens. So that's been
Oh, nice.
quite the adventure. The kids are enjoying that.
Yeah. So you said the COVID numbers are going down. Like, are you able to travel in country much yet? Have you been able to get back to the villages where you grew up in yet, or not yet, or?
No, travel in country is open back up, and yeah, you can travel and not have to quarantine. Where Rachel lived is 12 hours away, so with my classes Monday through Thursday, yeah, we don't really have enough
Hard to get
time
away.
on weekends to go out there.
Mhm.
I've been wanting to get up to our village, but they had told me I shouldn't come yet. I think they're pretty scared of COVID. And even though the church would be okay with me going up, the rest of the village might be upset about it. Because I mean, if anybody gets COVID, they're blaming the foreigner that came up, and everybody knows came
True.
up. And so, yeah, I'm just waiting for them to, and the village headman to give me the okay to go up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's been a little tricky to navigate because you have the government restrictions, which at this point are lifted, but then there's the fear, and
Yeah.
each community has kind of a different stance on how they want to approach things.
Yeah. The prime minister, though, just the other day put out an announcement that their goal is to have the country 100% back open within 120 days. So that would lift the quarantine requirement entering the country and everything.
Huh.
So that's what.
I wonder if that will be from any country or just certain countries.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it is what he's like, completely open.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're hoping to have their vaccination numbers up by then as well. So that's their goal.
So do you have people there? Is it at all like it is here, where you have people that are very afraid of it, and then you have people that, they think it's nothing, and everybody in between?
I would say it's less like that than the States.
Yeah.
Because people here are less individualistic, and so they tend to
Gotcha.
be more community focused.
Right.
And so, I don't know, it's easier, I think, to.
I would say there's both. Like the restaurants were all closed down for a couple weeks. You couldn't eat. The day they opened it back up, we went to a restaurant and it was very packed. And so, yeah, I think people are in some sense over it, but having talked to a few people, they've told me, there's some people that are very, very terrified of it. So I think you get both, but I don't think it's one against the other. It's okay, you do what you're comfortable with. I'm going to do what I'm comfortable with. And that's fine. They're okay with that. So it's
Yeah.
not a
It hasn't
that's
been
not
like
empowers. Yeah, it's
divisive.
not divisive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
comfortable, you can go eat out, and if not, and so I think there is both that are scared of it, and some that are not, but they're not. Yeah.
Yeah. Each side lets the other side live life.
Right. Right.
Oh, that's good. Well, anything else you guys wanted to share with folks, or what are some specific things that you would appreciate people praying about?
One thing we've been thinking and praying through is just schooling for the kids. So we are finishing up this homeschool year this upcoming week, and then I'm going to start working with a language helper 2 mornings a week. So I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, we're just trying to decide what's best for the kids, and COVID's made that a little bit challenging too, because at this point, like, they don't have any interaction with any Thai kids. We haven't, like, our neighbors don't have kids. And so we're hoping that church will kind of provide that missing piece, and that there'll be relationships there where they can have Thai friends and learn the language. But we don't know yet, since we haven't been able to gather. And so if that's not going to provide that piece for them, like once we're there, if that's not enough interaction or language learning time, then I would like to get them enrolled in some kind of high school, but I don't necessarily want it to be all day, every day. So we're just kind of praying through that. We're prepared to homeschool again in the fall, but it's a priority for us that the kids get the language and really have some good friends. And so we just aren't sure what it's going to take for that to happen yet. So just for wisdom in those decisions.
Yeah. How do you feel like your language is progressing?
It's definitely progressing. The classes that I've been in have been very basic, not a lot of new stuff yet. So it's because I started at level 0 in the class, and so there's been days that have been very boring, but it has been good. I've learned to read a lot more in the class, just from like the vocabulary that he goes over is familiar, and he has the script next to it, and so I'm able to teach myself how to read through that. The next level that I'll be going into in July will begin reading and writing, and so there has been quite a bit of language that I feel like I've been able to learn and use, because that's going from learning it to using it is a pretty big jump, because often in the moment you can't think of the right words, or and so yeah, it has been really good, just getting out in the market and having these small conversations where I've been thinking about this word all day long and then able to use it, and so yeah, I definitely feel like our language has been progressing, and I think pretty rapidly, because we already know the sentence structure, we know the sounds, we know the tones, and so all of that is familiar. We're just plugging in new vocabulary.
Right.
I was just thinking about this yesterday. I think one of the most difficult things is the sentence structure for English speakers, because almost everything is reversed. Like, instead of saying there's a red dog, you would say dog red there. And so yeah, with everything, like if you're learning from scratch, you're having to switch those word orders around, while translating the words, So yeah, so we definitely have a huge advantage there, where it is natural for me to say the words in the correct order.
Yeah.
And as I'm learning new vocabulary, I know where in the sentence that new word gets plugged in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I think we're jumping in at a part that is difficult in the language, though, because what we need is more to work more on our flow of language, definitely more vocabulary. But then, how does a person in this country like speak naturally? What are the filler words? What are the connector words, the bridge words, and how do they form their thoughts and ideas in different contexts? And this language is very socially driven, and so like pronouns change depending on who you're addressing, whether they're older or younger than you, or if they have some kind of status, whether that's education, wealth, etc. And then who am I in relation to them? And so everything, you're always constantly having to analyze, who am I talking to, what context are we in, what is our relationship in this setting. And so the pronouns I'm going to use are different, like the formality of my language is going to be different. And so they do it without a thought, like it's just very natural for them because they've been doing it since they were kids. But for us coming into that context when we don't even have the same worldview of that social hierarchy, it's very difficult to capture like the nuances and to understand those. So I think that's what makes it one of the things that makes it difficult, because that's a huge piece of culture that we have to learn kind of hand in hand with the language, and in order for it to flow the way it should.
So praying for language and culture study.
Yeah.
So you're going to Boone Tip's church?
Yeah.
So does Boone Tip have any idea why you're there? Like in the past, the missionaries he was associated with came to work with tribal people. You guys is, well, hi, there's two of my favorite people. Finally are willing to get in the camera so I can see them. We sure miss you.
I miss you too.
I miss my go check the cows buddy and snow show buddy and football buddy.
Did people see your shirt?
Oh, look at that. Awesome. Nice. So have you guys made some friends yet?
Yeah, we made two. No, three.
Yeah.
Nice.
2 girls, 1 boy.
Okay. Nice.
Can I get their names?
You know their names?
Yeah.
What are they?
Theo, Lena, and Suchi.
Oh, nice. So are you learning to speak their language?
Not really.
So Theo and Lena they speak English.
Okay.
Lena just speaks a little.
Bit.
She speaks German.
Yeah. So some of the ex-families here have kids that they've been able to play with. So that's been fun.
Yeah.
But
Theo's leaving next week. And Lena is, she's German. So she speaks more German than.
But Fuji.
Yeah.
Suchi.
Where did we meet Fuji or Suji?
Happy's.
Smiley's. Yeah.
Is that a restaurant?
We like to go to, and next door is a little electrical shop, and they have a little girl who's 6, and so sometimes
she's 5.
Oh, she's 5. Okay, so sometimes we'll eat at that restaurant.
Huh.
The kids get to go next door, and
she has a little area that we play in.
Yeah.
Ah. Well, Micaiah, I heard that that they don't have sushi over there where you are.
Is that true?
No. At the big market there is.
No.
Yeah.
Do you get it all the time?
Sometimes.
Let's see, crab, cucumber, carrot, and no cream cheese.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I show you something really cool?
Yeah,
I have to go get it.
yeah, okay.
She's just gonna show you the cat.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I knew it.
ready?
Here's Toothless. There's this Toothless.
Oh, look at that. A kitty.
He says hi.
What's the kitty's name?
Toothless.
Huh?
The other one is Hiccup.
What's the name?
Toothless.
Oh, yeah. You know, he looks like Toothless, doesn't he? Huh. All right. Well, yeah, so I was asking, they probably don't know yet why you're there. You're planning to work with the Thai church and all. And
Which leg got bitten?
I don't think we've had any conversation necessarily about that. I think
Mhm.
we've just communicated at this point. We're really wanting to learn Thai, and we want to plug in. We want to just really be a part of their church.
Mm.
Yeah, and I mean, we're at the point too where see where the Lord takes us in the future and what He does, and
Right.
there's a lot of different languages represented within their church, and so there, there's just a lot of opportunity, connections with different people groups and stuff just from their church. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, Micaiah and Malachi, is there anything that you would like people at FBC to be praying about for you?
That our cats would grow up.
Okay. That your cats would grow up
and that they would never get lost or run away until we give them away.
Okay. And that they would catch lots of mice.
Yeah.